In the power play, I love what they're doing now, changing it. I hate the two defensemen on a power play. I hate having two defensemen. One of those defensemen act as an offensive player. Why don't just put another offensive player out there? You don't need Chychrun and Carlson on the power play because one of them is just going to become an offensive player. So you have a defender playing offense for no reason. And trust me, I love Chychrun. I love what he can do I love what he can do as an offensive player. But he's not as good as some of the offensive players offensively. But I like having them Chychrun play on that first power play line. They added Ryan Leonard, so now they got the four offensive players, one defender, and Chychrun's a defender who's really aggressive. So you want to be a little careful because the Caps have been a team who's let up a lot of shorthanded goals, but it wasn't working with Carlson and Chychrun, so why not switch it? Okay, you have Carlson now in the second line with Ovi, and you got Beauvillier, McMichael, Frank. You got some of these high power flying guys. You can mix and match, Sourdif, all these different guys. But you need your core. You need the one defenseman to be really solid, and then you need to build around it. But you can't have two defensemen. I hate it so much, and I'm glad they're starting to get away from it. I hope they don't go back to it.
Yeah, you think about all that progression, who you can mix and match, and then you remember that Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to come back, hopefully in 3 months or so. Right now it's late November, so hopefully maybe following the Olympic break in mid-February, you might see Pierre-Luc Dubois back, and then this team just gets 300 times better, just because that's how good Pierre-Luc Dubois is. He's also a really good two-way player, something we've been seeing in Justin Sourdif. So we have Dylan Strome, elite, Dubois, Sourdif, Dowd, 4 bona fide centers. A year ago, the Caps are struggling at the center position to figure out who are the centers. We don't have center. We have them. They're back. They're here. And now we have a really flushed out center core, and we're able to be really, really effective even without Dubois at the moment. But when he comes back, it'll get all the more better.
Now I want to touch a little bit on Justin Sourdif. The Capitals were surprised by Justin Sourdif's ability to take this second line center role. He's played under 30 games in the NHL, Josh. The Capitals traded a second-round pick for him. They really reached on this guy. They saw what he's capable of, knew he was worth a second-round pick, and it's turned out. He's been able to take this second center line and make them just as good with Pierre-Luc Dubois. I'm going to say that. They've been just as good with Thomas and Protas and Justin Sourdif. And he's been taking the more defensive role. At the beginning of the year, he showed he's an enforcer, he's a forechecker, he's an offensive player, but he's really taking that two-way role, and I'm really happy to see it. But I don't see every single player doing that, and I'm a little worried. Josh, are you worried that the Capitals have become a little bit too aggressive in the last 4 games and have been opening up the ice too much? Like letting up too many breakaways, too many odd man rushes?
Well, yeah, the breakaways have always been a problem for the Caps, I think. So I'm not going to say that maybe a little bit of the new lines is the reason. Look, also they're building chemistry still. A lot of these players who are jumping lines, they're figuring out how to play with their guys. So I'm not going to say they're too aggressive. Breakaways are always going to happen too, regardless of how aggressive you are. You aren't, unless you literally have your defenseman sitting back in your own zone, which is not a way to play hockey. So I like what I'm seeing so far. I think it's too early to actually form an opinion on are they too aggressive or not? But I think the aggression is what they needed, because at the beginning of the season, we were all calling for a spark. We're all saying, well, we look dead out there. We need something. So now we have this aggression. I say we roll with it. Something that the Caps have been rolling with lately, we talked about goals and the goals they've been scoring. Adam, did you know that Chychrun and Carlson set an MLB record this weekend together? I'm reading this straight from NHL PR Twitter. Jakob Chychrun scored his second goal of the game, and John Carlson also found the back of the net 12 seconds later. The Capitals have 19 goals by defensemen this season, which is the most among all NHL teams, and those are the quickest 2 goals by defensemen in Caps franchise history.